Terry was a small-town girl with big dreams. She came to New York with hopes of becoming a world-famous dancer and making tons of money. On the day of a big festival, she was practicing her dance moves in her room, preparing to shine on stage. She had a supportive friend named Vera, who cheered her on no matter what. The moment of the performance came, and Terry was all set to dazzle the audience. But when she jumped during the dance, her leg twisted like a pretzel at a party, and she landed with the grace of a falling fridge. Her bone broke, the show stopped, and the audience was sent home. Terry was rushed to the hospital. The doctors treated her, but her dream of becoming a famous dancer crumbled like a cookie. With a broken leg, she couldn't even walk properly, let alone dance. Her dream of dancing on Broadway turned into a nightmare of limping down Main Street. Struggling with anxiety, Terry went to a man to get sleeping pills. She popped some pills on the metro ride home, hoping for peace. Instead, she went to Vera's house and found a pile of letters from her landlord, reminding her she hadn't paid rent. Looks like Terry was dancing her way into homelessness too. The next day, Terry tried her luck at another audition, but she was rejected again. Her broken leg was like an unwanted guest at every audition. She even tried home remedies to heal her leg, but nothing worked. Apparently, wishing hard doesn't fix bones, who knew? Then one day, she got a big break, or so she thought. She auditioned in front of Alan Merchant, a big-shot producer and his choreographers. They recognized her as the girl who fell. One choreographer asked her to perform the same step where she had fallen. Because nothing screams encouragement like, "Hey, let's relive your greatest flops." Terry did the step, but the choreographer made her do it repeatedly until her leg twisted again. Alan then came on stage and told her that if she wanted to roll, she'd have to behave like a pig and hold her tail. "Excuse me, Alan. Did you forget you're producing a dance show, not a barnyard play?" But Terry stood her ground. She told him she didn't care about the role, but wouldn't tolerate being insulted. She stormed out crying, and Vera found her outside. Terry shared what happened, and Vera tried to comfort her, promising her leg would heal. Just then, Terry spotted Alan leaving. Fueled by determination and a little drama, she followed him to his apartment building. At the reception, she said she was there to meet Alan. The receptionist reminded her she didn't have an appointment. Terry was out here trying to act like a VIP while her life was screaming, "Queue at the back." Suddenly, the sleeping pills hit, and she felt dizzy. She rushed outside and threw up. A couple, Minnie and Roman, saw her struggling and helped her. They took her to their room, gave her a place to rest, and let her sleep off the chaos. After some time, Terry woke up and went to meet Minnie and Roman, the couple who had helped her. Curious, she asked them why they had stepped in to help. Minnie casually told her there was no one else around to lend a hand. Well, clearly the entire city of New York was busy that day. Minnie, trying to be hospitable, offered Terry some chicken to eat, but Terry refused. She explained she grew up on a pig farm, where she had been taught to live humbly and love her little piglets. "Wow, Terry, we get it. You're the queen of barnyard ethics." She loved those piglets so much that she swore off non-vegetarian food. Terry then started making Minnie do the dishes. Imagine getting rescued and then immediately turning into the boss. Bold move, Terry. Later, they went to a restaurant, and Minnie, looking at Terry's face, told her it was like a star. She said she was sure Terry would become a big star one day. Hearing this, Terry was over the moon, but then she dropped the bomb that she had a serious problem. She was battling cancer and believed she couldn't achieve her dreams. Minnie, ever the optimist, told her not to worry, as everything would turn out fine. Minnie and Roman later took Terry to an apartment and revealed it was theirs. They offered her a place to stay for free. Naturally, Terry asked why they were doing so much for her. Roman explained they didn't have any children and thought of her like a daughter, because clearly, their idea of parenting is adopting strangers who vomit outside metro stations. Terry was thrilled at the idea that, after their passing, everything would belong to her. She accepted their offer on the spot. She rushed to Vera's house to pack her things, excitedly sharing the news about the miracle that had just happened. Vera, being the realist, asked how Terry managed to get such a deal in a big city for free. Terry brushed it off, saying they were just lonely old folks who wanted her company. Vera's side eye here must have been sharper than a knife. Terry moved into the apartment, where the receptionist greeted her and escorted her to her new place. As she unpacked, she noticed a drawer that wouldn't close. When she pulled it out, she found a dancer's shoe stuck behind it. She immediately recognized it as belonging to a dancer named Joan. When Minnie came by later, Terry asked her about Joan. Minnie casually mentioned that Joan used to live there, but had left her shoes behind in the trash. Minnie then informed Terry that Mr. Merchant Allen was hosting a party in the building that night and invited her to come meet him. Terry couldn't believe her luck. She was finally getting another chance to meet Alan. That night, she got all dressed up and went to Alan's apartment. But when Alan opened the door, she noticed something strange. The place was completely empty. There was no party, no people, nothing. Alan explained that everyone was supposed to come, but they all made other plans. Sure, Alan, because clearly everyone in New York just forgot they had a party to attend. Alan offered her a drink and asked why she loved dancing so much. Terry explained that it was her escape. She told him about an accident on her family's pig farm where her father had died, leaving her alone. She started dancing to cope with the sorrow, as it made her feel like her pain disappeared. As she finished her heartfelt story and took a sip of wine, Terry began to feel dizzy. Great job, Terry. Spilling your tragic backstory to a guy who probably spiked your drink. Stellar life choices. Alan came over to Terry, held her, and just like that, she found herself drifting into another world. In this dreamlike state, she saw herself dancing, felt someone taking off her dress, and noticed a random deer hanging out by her foot. Because, of course, nothing screams romance like wildlife awkwardly photobombing your fantasy. The next thing she knew, she woke up in Alan's bed. That's when she realized Alan was her boyfriend now. Congrats, Terry. You've officially leveled up from struggling dancer to dating the producer. She suspected something might have happened between them the night before. Her suspicions grew stronger when Alan walked in with breakfast, casually mentioned how much fun he had last night, and then dropped the bombshell. He was offering her a role in his dance play. Overjoyed, Terry accepted and headed off to practice. At the rehearsal, the lead dancer wasted no time throwing shade at Terry. She sneered, "You only got here because you slept with the producer." Wow, what a charming way to welcome someone. 10 points for originality, Karen. Feeling humiliated, Terry ran to the washroom. In there, she noticed bruises on her hands. Then, as she removed her clothes, she found bruises on her legs and shoulders too. It dawned on her that she had been struggling the previous night, but she couldn't remember a thing. Classic Terry. Always finding herself in dramatic situations without any memory of how she got there. That night, Terry had been outside her apartment when Minnie called her over to introduce her to a friend named Lily, who lived in the same building. Minnie handed Terry some oil and claimed it could cure her injured leg. Terry, being Terry, believed her and applied the oil before going to bed. She soon drifted into a dream where she saw herself about to have an accident in an elevator. Startled, she woke up, only to find a huge figure looming over her bed. Terrified, she jumped out of bed, thinking someone had broken in, but when she checked, no one was there. Maybe it was the ghost of that random deer from earlier, here to judge her life choices. To her shock, her injured leg was completely healed the next morning. Not only was she pain-free, but she could jump and practice perfectly. Everyone at the rehearsal was stunned by her sudden recovery. Terry's new superpower, miraculous healing via mystery oils. Later that night, Terry took Vera to a party in her apartment building. The place was packed with all the residents. Minnie pulled Terry aside to introduce her to a doctor named Safstein. The doctor told Terry she was destined to become famous one day and handed her his card, saying she could call him during any medical emergency. Terry raised an eyebrow, wondering why a random doctor was predicting medical emergencies for her. But he waved her off and told her to just keep the card. Don't worry, Terry. It's not creepy at all for a stranger to tell you your future involves 911 calls. As Terry was leaving the party, she noticed everyone staring at her, which made her feel uneasy. Then, outside a cabin, she overheard Minnie and Lily arguing about something. However, the moment they spotted Terry, they both immediately calmed down, pretending like nothing had happened. Because nothing says totally normal situation like two frenemies suddenly shutting up when you walk in. Roman came to visit Terry, bringing her a gift. Terry, ever the humble queen, said, "You've already done so much for me. I don't need more gifts," but Roman insisted, saying this gift was special. When she opened it, it was a gorgeous robe. She tried it on and was thrilled, because nothing screams special gift like fancy pajamas that you'll probably spill coffee on. Roman then told her to check his left pocket. Curious, she reached in and pulled out a locket. He explained it was a good luck charm and told her to keep it with her always. Yeah, Roman, because a locket is going to solve all of Terry's chaotic life problems. That night, back in her apartment, Terry was chatting with her friend Vera, who praised their amazing neighbors. But while wearing the robe, Terry suddenly imagined a demon grabbing her stomach. Freaked out, she threw the robe off. Then, in a completely random moment, Terry started dancing with Vera, and in the middle of it, she threw a glass out the window. Because, apparently, smashing windows is Terry's new hobby. Later, Terry gave Vera a gift, which made Vera super happy. But the next morning, Terry's life took a turn. She suddenly felt stomach pain, rushed to the washroom, and vomited. Panicked, she went to the doctor, who dropped the bombshell. She was pregnant. Congrats, Terry. It's either morning sickness or karma for smashing that window. Terry told Vera, who immediately asked if she would tell Alan. Terry hesitated, worried Alan might fire her from the show. Classic Terry. Always worrying about her paycheck before her life choices. One night, while doing laundry in the creepy basement, Terry felt like someone was watching her. She turned and saw a child inside the washing machine, staring at her. Okay, Terry, maybe cut back on the horror movies before bed. She freaked out, but another lady appeared, and the spooky moment passed. The next day, while Terry was in the makeup room, a girl pranked her. Alan saw this and sent the girls away. Then, in a moment that screamed awkward hero, Alan started cleaning Terry's clothes himself. Who knew Alan was a producer in the dry cleaning staff? He told Terry he knew she was pregnant and encouraged her to keep the baby, saying motherhood was a wonderful thing. Terry was shocked and couldn't figure out why Alan was suddenly so sentimental. When Terry got back to her apartment, Roman and Minnie were already there. They casually revealed they had a spare key to her place. Because boundaries? What are those? They said they'd learned about her pregnancy and wanted to help. Terry, still in shock, told them she was considering abortion. Roman and Minnie begged her not to. They said if she didn't want to raise the baby, she could give it to them, as they didn't have children, and this would bring them happiness. Wow, Roman and Minnie went from friendly neighbors to baby recruiters real quick. Terry told them she'd think about it, and let them know her decision. Because clearly, nothing in Terry's life can be decided without an entire neighborhood committee weighing in. One night, while Terry was sleeping, she had some wild visions of a ritual where she was being held and dragged away. Suddenly, she woke up and found herself being carried to her bed. Because apparently, sleepwalking wasn't dramatic enough. Now Terry's life has live-action horror movies. She felt like someone was in the room. When she stepped outside, she saw Mrs. Lely, who blurted out, "The child must die." Lely grabbed a knife and charged at her, but Terry managed to close the door just in time. Then, out of nowhere, Lely clutched her chest, had a heart attack, and collapsed. Terry, panicking, called an ambulance, and Lely was rushed to the hospital. Because if you're going to try and murder someone, at least make sure your heart's up for it, Lely. The next morning, Terry woke up to Minnie visiting her. Minnie reassured her that Lely was alive but had gone into a coma. Terry, still shaken, asked Minnie why Lely tried to attack her. Minnie and Roman shrugged it off, saying Lely just got a little carried away. Oh, sure, attacking people with knives is totally a little carried away. Classic Lely. After they left, Terry decided to investigate. She went into her storeroom and found a secret door leading to Lely's room. Intrigued, she opened it and found a stash of books, one of which was titled The Book of the Devil, because nothing screams trustworthy neighbor like a private library dedicated to Satan. Curious, Terry opened the book and saw a picture of the devil. She also found a photo of a woman giving birth to the devil's child. Suddenly, she heard someone entering her apartment, so she quickly hid the book and pretended nothing happened. Later, during rehearsal, the lead dancer started taunting Terry. Annoyed, Terry silently wished the dancer's leg would break. And just like that, the dancer's leg snapped and her hand twisted too. Everyone was shocked. Apparently, Terry's newfound superpower is karmic justice on demand. With the lead dancer out, Terry was given the role. When Terry told Minnie about what happened, Minnie was thrilled and said, "If someone thinks bad things happen to them." Terry, however, started feeling uneasy. She suspected something strange was happening inside her stomach. Girl, it's either a curse or too much Taco Bell. The next day, Terry gave a fantastic performance on stage. But back in the changing room, she noticed her stomach was bloated, and the baby inside seemed to be trying to come out. Freaked out, she realized something wasn't right. Her stomach suddenly deflated, and she decided to visit Minnie's doctor friend. When Terry called the doctor, he cryptically told her to take care of the child and not trouble it. Terry was baffled and quickly ended the call. Honestly, Terry, at this point, just stopped trusting anyone who speaks in riddles. Later, Minnie showed up outside Terry's apartment, claiming she just wanted to check on her. Terry, not buying it, told Minnie she was perfectly fine and shut the door. Because when Satan's fan club comes knocking, you don't invite them in for tea. Determined to escape, Terry packed her things and sneaked out of the building. She moved into a new apartment to start fresh, leaving behind all the drama and devilish mysteries. Smart move, Terry. Next time, maybe vet your neighbors before moving in. Terry, still in detective mode, went to every theater in town, asking about Joan, the mysterious girl whose shoes she found in her apartment. Eventually, she spotted Joan's name on a list. When Terry met Joan's director, he said Joan had vanished 6 months ago. She promised she'd return but never did. Classic disappearing act. Joan might have been better suited for a magician's assistant gig. The director handed over Joan's belongings, which included a Bible. Strangely, passages about the devil were marked in it. She also found a cross, and when she held it, her hand started burning. Because why not add spontaneous combustion to her list of problems? Realizing something terrible must have happened to Joan, Terry decided to investigate further. Terry, now armed with the devil's book, went to a church. There, she met a mother, not her mom, a nun, who questioned why she was there. Terry explained that Joan had been to the same church 6 months ago with this creepy book. The nun confirmed it was the devil's book and said it was forbidden to bring it there. Imagine being so evil that even a church gives you side eye. Suddenly, Terry felt intense pain in her stomach. The nun, putting two and two together, realized Terry was carrying the devil's child. Terry panicked, dropped to her knees, and prayed, begging for the baby never to be born. At this point, Terry had only one option left: kill the devil baby. She convinced a friend to take her to a doctor for an abortion. But when the doctor tried to proceed, Terry's body went rogue, and she kicked the doctor, who then became paralyzed on the spot. Apparently, the devil's baby also comes with built-in anti-abortion defense mechanisms. Terry suddenly realized the horrifying truth. Anyone who tried to harm the baby would become paralyzed. So, the baby was already out here, collecting L's like it was a video game boss. This explained why Mrs. Lily and her dancer rival had been paralyzed earlier. Terry, seeing no way out, told her friend goodbye. She said their time together was over and asked her friend to take care of herself. Her friend begged her to reconsider, but Terry was determined. She returned to the apartment, fully aware of what awaited her. When Terry entered the lift, it took her to the upper floor, because even elevators in horror stories have no chill. There, she saw ritual items and suddenly remembered it was the same place where everything started. Then Alan appeared, looking smug. Alan explained that the thing in her stomach was their god. If she gave birth to it, she'd become its mother and be worshipped. Worshipped? More like the devil's babysitter, but okay, Alan. He reassured her he hadn't harmed her that night. He just seduced her. Apparently, the devil himself had gotten intimate with her, which is how she ended up pregnant. Talk about the worst hookup story ever. Terry, terrified and furious, grabbed a knife and stabbed Alan to death. But before she could breathe, she saw the devil standing there. Because why let a girl catch a break when you can throw a literal demon into the mix? When Terry saw a man staring at her, she immediately ran to the lift and went straight down to Roman and Minnie's house. She stormed in and demanded to know why they did this to her. Roman, in full drama mode, revealed their big secret. They didn't believe in God. He said that when her parents died, God didn't save them, so they decided to switch teams and worship the devil instead. Ah, yes. Classic, God didn't pick up the phone, so let's speed dial Satan. Roman continued, saying that the child in Terry's womb was the devil's baby. If born, the devil would rule the world and erase every trace of God. Terry, horrified, shouted that she would never let that happen. She tried to kill the demon child inside her, but the devil baby had other plans. It used its powers to throw the knife away like a boss. Imagine being an unborn baby with better defense mechanisms than the Pentagon. Realizing she couldn't harm the baby, Terry came to the grim understanding that the child would stop anyone who tried to kill her, even before it was born. Defeated, she reluctantly decided to join Roman and Minnie's twisted plan. Talk about if you can't beat them, join them, taken to a whole new level. To celebrate Terry's conversion, Roman and Minnie threw a party that night. Everyone was yelling "Hail Satan," like it was karaoke night, and even Terry joined in. Then, in a total plot twist, she grabbed a drink, started dancing, and seemed to embrace her new evil overlord status. Because why not throw a dance off before the apocalypse? But when the dancing ended, Terry walked over to a window. Without warning, she jumped out, smashing onto the ground below. Her head burst open, and she died instantly. Well, Terry really said, "If I can't beat the devil, I'm out," literally. The cult members were left in shock. The devil's child, who was supposed to be born in a few days, was now dead because Terry was gone. Their big, evil plan? Completely ruined. Turns out, the devil's baby couldn't survive a mic drop moment from Mom. Meanwhile, Rosemary and her husband were the first to find Terry's body. As the police questioned them, Roman and Minnie arrived at the scene. When they saw Rosemary and her husband, something clicked. They realized the devil's child wasn't truly dead. It had moved into Rosemary's womb. Apparently, this kid wasn't just evil. It was a pro at womb hopping. Roman and Minnie smiled knowingly, thrilled that their plan was back on track. And with that unsettling grin, the movie ended.
It's Terry on the mic, devil child in the room. Roman and Minnie plotting doom in the room. Hail Satan on repeat, get it out of their mind. When Terry's here, the roast them one line at a time. Roman's like God roasted, so we switched to the devil. But brother, logic so shallow, not even the pebble. Minnie's hype, throwing rituals at the wall, while Terry's out here like y'all really dropped the ball. Devil's baby in the belly, flexing power so tight. Knife out her hand like nah, not tonight. This baby's unborn, but already it came. More protective than Roman's cheap wedding ring. Hail to the chaos, hail to the fear. Devil in the room, the apocalypse near. But Terry's got moves, she ain't about that life. She said, catch me outside, then jump, no strike. Party upstairs, shit, hail Satan on blast. Terry sipping cocktails, but it didn't last. She danced like a queen, but the plot got grim. Window wide open and she took the swim. Roman's face dropped like his Wi-Fi disconnected. Minnie's jaw hit the floor, plot twist unexpected. Devil baby Now the cult's plan is 6 feet down. Police at the scene, bodies on the street. Roman and Minnie sweating, can't handle the heat. But wait, Rosemary's got the devil mom glow. Baby boom hop like surprise on your show. This ghost got more twists than a soap opera plot. Evil's back in business, ready or not. Hail to the chaos, hail to the fear. Devil in the womb, the apocalypse near. Terry said, peace out, I'm done with this game. But Rosemary's turn and it's all the same. So remember this tale is wild and bizarre. When you hear hail Satan, don't party too hard. Terry dropped the mic, literally she's gone. But the devil's kids laughing, the show goes on. It's chaos in the house and Satan's on speed dial. Roman and me still crazy and see now. Drop the beat, we out. Hail to the chaos, hail to the fear. Devil in the womb, the apocalypse near. But Terry's got moves, she ain't about that life. She said, catch me outside, big jump, no strike. Party upstairs, shitting hell, Satan on blast. Terry sipping cocktails, but it didn't last. She danced like a queen, but the plot got grim. Window wide open and she took the swim. All his face dropped like his Wi-Fi disconnected. Minnie's jaw hit the floor, plot twist unexpected. Devil baby, bye-bye, mom hit the ground. Now the cult plan is 6 feet down. Police at the scene, bodies on the street. Roman and Minnie sweating, can't handle the heat. But wait, Rosemary's got that devil mom glow. Baby boom hop like surprise on your show. This cult's got more twists than a soap opera plot. Evil's back in business, ready or not. Drop the beat, we out.